Hey, it's been quite some while since I've done one of those fresh reviews, and with fresh review, I mean releases that are not older than 1 year in my world. So that tells you something about how much time I get to actually listen properly to latest releases. But with this one, yeah, I was really curious. I did a reaction to the first single for this latest album, and now we've got the full length release, Critical Thinking by the Manic Street Preachers. So let's find out if I've got some critical thoughts on this latest album of theirs. So, with Critical Thinking, we get 12 new tracks from the Manics. It's the follow up to their very piano and keyboard heavy and overall most pop sounding album, the Ultra Vivid Lament. Sort of split the Manics fans a little bit when this came out. So, of course, the question now is, what are they going to do with their or on this new album? Will they continue their keyboard glossy pop direction, or will this be maybe a return to a spikier, more punk influenced version of the Manic Street Preachers? Well, the first single, Decline and Fall, made it immediately clear that the Manics are not going to surprise us with experimentation or with an angry, aggressive guitar album. Decline and Fall pretty much was a decent, very catchy, up-tempo pop rock song, still very much in the vein of the Ultra Vivid Lament, in my opinion, or maybe the more accessible, the more radio friendly moments of Resistance is Futile. So overall, the band seems to have settled into a latter day comfort zone that is somewhere between catchy indie rock and, well, as I've said, radio friendly pop rock for the 40 plus generation. The more surprised I was when I listened to this album and, was greeted by the voice of Nicky Wire on the first track. It's also the title track. It's a song built around a thumping bass drum and bass, with Nicky Wire mostly talking over the track. The track itself has a bit of an, dare I say it, almost post-punky vibe, even though it's very slick and glossy in that, as I've mentioned, latter-day Manic Street Preachers style. The most memorable part of this one, however, is probably the constantly repeated chorus line, "What happened to your critical thinking?" The rest of it, as I've said, is mostly Nicky Wire talking over the backing track, and that's something that you will find either interesting and fresh or tiresome and annoying after a while. I am still somewhere in between those two poles. It's a very odd choice for an opening track, but maybe by doing that, the Street Preachers wanted to demonstrate that they are still edgy and not your ordinary pop band. The lyrics criticize or take a critical look at modern digital society, maybe. Typical Nicky Wire lyrics, I'd say, neither his worst nor his best. What follows next is a big chunk of the singles from this album. It starts with Decline and Fall as track number 2, an uptempo, to me, more energized version of the pop music that the Manics played on the predecessor album. And this song deals with aging or maybe a feeling of nostalgia, but musically in an upbeat manner. It's very catchy, maybe a bit too sweet sounding, very radio friendly, something that, wouldn't annoy you if you listen to it on breakfast radio, maybe. But I think it's a decent latter day Manic Street Preachers single. This is followed by Brush Strokes of Reunion, which is pretty much in a similar vein as Decline and Fall. A driving, up-tempo pop rock song. This is possibly about James Dean Bradfield's mother. So again, we are dealing with the issue of looking back, of memories, of nostalgia, and of aging, the passing of time, maybe missing people or saying goodbye to those people, and thinking of persons that are no longer with us. But again, the music is, lots of major chords, very happy sounding, glossy production. As I've said, it's all a bit inoffensive, but I quite like this song, maybe even more than Decline and Fall. And on this one, we finally also get a little bit of James Dean Bradfield's guitar work, something that I personally always feel is a bit overlooked. When talking about the Manic Street Preachers, or when talking about, British rock bands of the 90s and early 2000s, James Dean Bradfield is a very economic guitar player. He does solos, but very often very short, concise solos, but I simply love what he does on electric guitar, and this one is no exception. Then we get to Hiding in Plain Sight, which already now has become famous among fans for being the first single from a Manic Street Preachers album with Nicky Wire as the lead vocalist. And he does an okay vocal delivery here. I don't think he's a very good or strong singer, actually, but it works on this song, which is a mid-tempo guitar pop number about, I'm not 100% sure, it could be about withdrawing from society. Again, there seems to be the topic of aging, of memories from the past. Maybe it's also about relationship ending. There are several facets to this song, which, however, actually is not very exciting to listen to. As I've said, it's a plodding mid-tempo track. The music is quite facile, maybe even plain. And yeah, it has a very facile, pleasant, non-obtrusive, happy-go-lucky sound to it that has crept in with the Manic Street Preachers since maybe Postcards from a Young Man, or at least the Resistance is Futile album. and it gives the music of the Manic Street Preachers sometimes something a little bit predictable, maybe even something shallow in terms of songwriting. I really, with some tracks on this album, I've got the feeling that the inspiration is a bit lacking in, the songwriting camp there. But it's an okay track. People Ruin Paintings, which follows on the album and also was released in advance to the full-length album being released, fares much better in my opinion. Actually, I'd say it's one of the best tracks on this album. There's some beautiful jangly guitar work from James Dean Bradfield, also some nice little intricacies in the arrangements, some more unexpected chord changes and little breaks. Overall, it's a beautiful song with a bit of an anthemic quality, but of course not with the urgency or bite of the earlier Manic Street Preachers. And it seems to be a song about the drive of human beings to discover things, or maybe also to overanalyze things, and thus ultimately not seeing the truth, or maybe also destroying truths. One of those typically a bit heady Manic Street Preachers lyrics, but set to a very accessible guitar dominated song.
Take the nihilist out of the deserts. Take the flag from the sea of tranquility. People ruin paintings, faces for the view.
If you ever got a postcard from Morrissey, the famous frontman of the Smiths in the 80s, on request of your mother, then you probably can deem yourself a very lucky person. And this is something that apparently happened to Nicky Wire as a teenager. And he references that in the a bit curious song Dear Stephen, which also works with a lot of references to Smith's lyrics. It has been interpreted as a plea for, or a plea to Stephen Morrissey to sort of, rethink his own stance and attitudes. But Nicky Wire has since denied this. This is another song which is more about Nicky Wire himself and a kind of looking back at his former younger self than it is about anything else. However, also in the music, you get a combination of acoustic guitar and a certain style of bass playing that seems to mimic the sound of the Smiths a little bit. And again, this is a track that I am not really decided about myself. There's something very heartfelt about it, and at the same time also it has a bit of a corny aspect to it. Again, it's a very sing-along, mid-tempo track, and I would again put it in the pile of latter-day okay songs by the Manic Street Preachers. Being Baptized is one of the more up-tempo tracks once more. It is again a very bright, joyful sounding track. Certainly a good one to play live. Bit of a grower. I've listened to this album a couple of times now. And at first, this one didn't stick out that much to me, but over time, I'd say this is also one of my favorites from the album. Again, mostly due to James Dean Bradfield's guitar playing and some of the chord progressions, the little licks he throws in on this track. This seems also to be about, how you can view things in different ways. It could be something that looks negative, could also be looked at in a positive way. As it says in the chorus, I woke up soaked to the bones. Was I being drowned or baptized?
I woke up singing a song, words of joy and sounds of sorrow.
My Brave Friend is a kind of mid-tempo rock ballad. It returns to the always present theme of losing a friend, living in memories of a friend, and of course this points to the disappearance and very likely suicide of former Manic Street Preachers guitarist and main lyricist Richie Edwards. But boy, is this a somewhat nondescript, tired, and really not memorable song. Certainly one of the weakest tracks on the album, and this is where this kind of, a bit uninspired and, middle of the road songwriting comes in that seems to happen more and more on Manic Street Preachers albums. Out of Time Revival has a quite reverby, a little bit electronic production, and thus reminds me a little bit of tracks from the sometimes a little bit maligned and maybe underestimated album Lifeblood by the Manic Street Preachers, an album that at first I personally also didn't like that much, but an album that has grown on me and that I estimate a little bit more now with hindsight. Other than that, there's not much to say about Out of Time Revival. It's another okay track, but yet again, not the most memorable one. And one gets the feeling a little bit that after being baptized, the band has shot its bolt on this album. But there are 3 more tracks, so let's find out what I have to say about those. With Deleted Scene, we get yet another variation of what the Manics consider a pop song. Very accessible, almost simple melody, predictable chord changes. I really get the feeling again with this song that sometimes the hearts weren't really in it when it came to interesting songwriting. There is a little instrumental break just before the chorus, which is really cool and the absolutely best bit of this track. Other than that, I don't like this one very much. It's really shallow sounding and just, the Street Preachers going through the motions, rather uninteresting. Fans of the soft, very keyboard-dominated sound of the ultra-vivid Lament may enjoy the next one, Late Day Peaks, a song that is musically so inoffensive that coming from the Manic Street Preachers, it is actually extremely offensive to listen to. One of the worst things I've heard from the band. And yeah, the less said about it, the better, I guess. Nicky Wire is allowed to bookend this album because he also is the singer on the last track, One Man Militia. Though I don't know, or I can't really understand why they decided to do that, because Nicky Wire really is not a very good singer, and that becomes very apparent on this final track. It's one of the more angry sounding ones, with a bit more of a rock or a punk backbone, but again, in a bit of a tired way, or rather uninspired musically. Also, the lyrics maybe say a lot. I don't know what I'm for, but I know what I'm against. I'm sickened to death by man. I'm bored to death with myself. Maybe, yeah, the Manics don't really know what they want to say, or what it is they are after in their music these days. The track is okay, but also nothing to write home about. The 15th album by the Manic Street Preachers sees the band musically a little bit directionless or confused, sometimes even tired and listless, in my opinion. Actually, Critical Thinking would have had the potential to be a really good latter-day Manic Street Preachers album due to some extremely strong moments in the first half, but then we unfortunately get a mostly really lackluster and uninspired second half. The band has described this album as opposites colliding and trying to find a resolution, but this hardly happens on the album. It is mostly a mishmash, or simply just like that snaky, confused line marking that you see on the album cover. The music also here is very often a kind of undecided mishmash. Did the Street Preachers want to go full out pop again, or was there actual plan to do a grittier, more punk-infused album? Was this meant to be a personal album, or rather an angry political album? I'm still not sure after listening to it several times. And, well, at the end of the day, this is a 6.75 out of 10 for me, so still a solid album, but somewhat disappointing. But remember, this is simply based on a few first impressions after listening to the album a couple of times, so that's my opinion, and now it's your turn.